Good Morning Delaware is powered by
is your main man, Big I'm the talk of the town, Mr. DETV, and I'm here with my co-host for today.
On this snowy Monday, I feel like we just did this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I was great. Say, look, the snow comes right. It blasts throughout Delaware, and it took forever to leave, Matt. And now we're right back at it again. But today, I'm happy because we have some amazing people on that's keeping us safe. That knows what's going on, especially down in Kent, Sussex. Oh, so I'm happy to have them on. But before we get to them, Matt, how are you holding up? How was your mom holding up? What's going on your end?
Hey, we were hunkered down. I was one of the many that was at the grocery store yesterday for hours, getting my milk, eggs and bread as if we would never get out of the house again.
The prices go up for you? Did you see
they did a little bit. There was actually no eggs, so it was milk and bread yesterday. There was no eggs.
Oh
I
wow!
will say at the grocery store, but I saw. It's probably you saw online too yesterday. You were sort of doom scrolling, getting ready for this. We saw like a 24-hour period, Ivan, of like the grass for 24 hours in our yards, and then again, the grass, and then again it'll be covered for. But this weekend is supposed to get in the 50s, so I'm hoping this melts a little bit faster than last time.
I think it is. And before we even, let's bring who we got on. Tell them who we got, Matt. Tell the people that's watching who we got. Let's bring them on because it's important.
Excellent. So we have two very important guests this first half hour this morning. We want to welcome Paige Fitzgerald. Paige is the Deputy Director of DEMA, and that's the Emergency Management Agency for Delaware. And we also want to welcome Kay Sass. And Kay is with the City of Dover, Emergency Management and Communication. So welcome, ladies. Thanks for joining us this morning. Thanks so much, and welcome to Good Morning Delaware. As Ivan said, it's very important and impactful for our audiences to hear directly from you both. So I want to start now with you, Paige. If you can tell us sort of what you're seeing statewide. I know we do have driving restrictions in force in all three counties. Can you just give us a high level of, to just start off with about those driving restrictions to keep people safe?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now we still have level 3 driving bans in both Kent and Sussex County, meaning that everyone should be off of the road unless they are operating snowplow equipment or they are first responders. In Newcastle County, we still have a level 2 driving ban, which means you should not be on the road unless you meet the previous criteria or you have a waiver under the state of Delaware driving waiver program. Those are not issued during the storm. That was something that had to be done before the storm. You can find more information about that on the DEMA website at dema.delaware.gov. But right now, we anticipate those driving restrictions being in place as the roads are still very, very treacherous in both of the lower two counties.
In other words, Paige, what you're saying, and I know you can't say it, but I'm going to say it. Keep your ass home.
I think that's fair to say.
Is that fair assessment?
Fair assessment. It's dangerous out, so we want to make sure that everyone in the state of Delaware is safe throughout this snowstorm.
It is. We saw a lot of stranded vehicles overnight. We have lots of disabled vehicles that were left on roadways. We've had lots of mission for the National Guard, for DelDOT, just people that were out and getting them back into a place that was more safe. So we can't urge this enough. Please stay home today.
Yeah. And Kay, let me ask you, what do you see in Dover? What advice would you tell the residents of Dover?
I really echo that same thing. If people can stay home, that it makes clearing our roads so much easier. We are struggling even just keeping up with our emergency and critical routes right now. We have strong winds, the snow's still coming down. So the more people that can stay off the roads, the easier it is for all of us, safer it is for everybody.
You got hit down in Dover and Sussex harder than we did in Wilmington this time around.
It certainly looks that way.
All right.
Numbers I've been seeing.
What advice would you give people? I know when I talked to the chief of fire down here in Wilmington, he was saying last snowstorm, they had about 130 calls of emergency calls. What advice would you give the residents?
We've had a huge influx of calls overnight with power outages, EMS, accidents happening. So police, fire, EMS, and electric were all busy through the night. Again, it helps with people staying home for our emergency vehicle accessibility on the roads. It helps with decreasing the number of accidents.
Mhm.
Our electric numbers, we're faring pretty well right now in Dover. We're at about 100 without electric at this point, but we've worked all through the night keeping electric and restoring electric. So I know other entities, other organizations, the co-op and Delmarva Power, they've
Mhm.
struggled a little bit more with their number of customers that are without, but our guys have really hit it hard all through the night.
Awesome.
We appreciate that, Kay. And Kay, so you're located in the city of Dover. Can you tell us about how many inches you're seeing around you that you may have gotten?
So out my front door has been very drifted over, but what I could gather from the back, I look to have just shy of 16 in my back side. And
16.
16.
Wow. Okay, so these are
Paige
not
may
messing.
Paige may have better totals from what they're getting statewide.
Yeah, so we've seen totals looking at just the Delaware Environmental Observing System, like the 15, 16 mark right now is the total that we're seeing. We have not gotten the most updated numbers yet from the National Weather Service, but we are seeing well over a foot of snow across the state.
Mm.
Paige, with that, I want to ask, how is DEMA handling this storm, maybe different than Winter Storm Fern that we saw in January?
So Winter Storm Fern was really interesting. They're, both winter storms, but definitely had their own challenges. Winter Storm Fern brought less snow, but a lot more ice. And that's where we really saw those impacts that lasted weeks and weeks. People really having a hard time in the initial phases of the storm as the ice came down over the snow. For this winter storm, what we really saw was a lot of forecast uncertainty until the storm was almost right upon us. So even as recently as Saturday morning, we were having predictions that were anywhere from 1 inch to over 30 inches. And what we saw when the storm actually came in was that while Newcastle County was originally forecasted to have the highest snowfall amounts, we're now seeing those in Sussex County. The other really big difference is that while Fern had the ice, this storm brought really heavy, wet snow that it's not going to blow quite as much, but it's weighing a lot of things down. So like Kay mentioned, we are seeing a ton of trees down across the state. DelDOT had reports of over 100 trees down statewide. We have utility poles that have come down. We're having widespread power outages because of that. So the impacts feel a little bit more significant from this storm than they did from the one a few weeks ago.
And then, Paige, just on that, I want to talk a little bit about safety. We're seeing sort of, we're checking our phones, checking the weather. Now we're seeing that the snow is starting to taper off, but we're not exactly out of the storm. What do you want people to know who are watching? They're like, okay, we can go out, we can, get back to normal life. We're ready to start shoveling, get on the roads. Aside from stay off the roads, what should they know?
They should know that if they're going to go out and shovel, they need to take it slow. So this is, again, that heavy, wet snow. This is where we see one of the biggest risks outside of the traffic accidents. It's going to be heart attacks and health incidents for folks who go out there and just really overexert themselves too fast. So take it slow, take it carefully. It's a great time to call your neighbors, pay the kid down the street $20 to come help you out, right? It's time for us to all take care of each other. I think the other big message is we're not out of the woods yet. We're going to have power outages that will be here for days because we have so much damage to the utility infrastructure. So make sure you still have, food and water in your house. Make sure your flashlights are working. Make sure you know where your blankets are. Check on your neighbors. Check on your elderly neighbors, especially. It's the time for all of us to look out for one another.
Paige, do you have any emergency sort of numbers that you want to share? Phone numbers, that is, for if people need to get in touch with emergency agencies, report down wires. Where should they go first and foremost?
The easiest thing to do is look at our social media page. We're sharing a lot of information today as time goes on about some of those specifics. Right now in Sussex County, they do have their storm line open, and that information is available on social media. You can also always call 911 with an emergency, but that's not the best for non-emergencies right now. So we're directing people to local emergency management agencies and non-emergency numbers that we'll publish as the day goes on.
speaking of these power outages, and then I want to go to UK after this. So Paige, I want to talk about people use generators now, very popular, right? We just want to get those messages out there to make sure that you're not starting them in your home, you're not starting them in your garage with your garage door down. What else should people know about the safety of generators?
Hopefully they've tested them before they needed them, but you really hit the nail on the head. That's it. We're looking at those sort of CO2 impacts as secondary impacts. So if people have questions about how to utilize them, that would be a good question for the non-emergency lines and things that we'll put out later today. But really making sure that you have access to fresh air while you're utilizing your generator is huge.
Hey, I want to go to you with any sort of safety information that you want the residents of Dover and surrounding areas in Kent County to know, anything you want them to keep top of mind.
Just reiterate what Paige had said about the weight of the snow. This is a heart attack snow. That's kind of what they refer to it as, with it being so wet and heavy. So folks need to be really careful as they go out and try to clear their path out this morning. Outside of that, we're gonna fare better with weather this time than we did in January. So hopefully the snow will not stick around as long. Our temperature stayed so brutal the last time, we had weeks of 0-degree temp. So this time we're gonna be up in the 50s, hopefully by the end of the week. So that'll help with our clearing of the snow as well.
And then for our viewers that are in Dover and Kent County, can you tell us, Kay, sort of the plan of action or the plan of attack when you talk about clearing the snow, plowing? Obviously, main roads and main arteries are the first level of priority. But then where do we go from there as far as clearing neighborhoods and side roads?
Sure. So we did start plowing yesterday. We had crews starting at 5 p.m. So they're running 24 hours a day since 5 p.m. yesterday. We also had contractors start in last night. We start with our emergency and critical routes, just keeping those main arteries open to the hospital basically is the biggest thing. We also had plows assigned to the fire and EMS and police. So if they had to get somewhere they needed to plow through, we could go ahead and get that done quickly. As soon as the snow stops and we're able to make sure that that emergency route is staying clear, they then move on to our primary roads. And lastly, we'll go into residential neighborhoods. They typically get into residential neighborhoods about 24 hours after the snow stops. And that's a lot of roads to clear. So, patience is key here. People need to understand, everybody wants them to be the first to be plowed out, but, we do the best we can with what we've got. And we have our contractors coming in, and this is a lot of snow to move. There's not a lot of places to stack snow in the city. So we'll likely have to be hauling it out like we did with the last storm. There were some areas we had to haul snow out of the downtown area in order to make the roads passable. This will definitely, with this amount of snow, we'll have to be hauling snow out as well.
It's important to know. Thank you so much, Kay. And Kay, I do want to be respectful of your time. I know you have another meeting to get to. So before we go back to Paige with DEMA, are there any final thoughts or facts, figures, statistics you want people to know about, particularly in Kent County viewers?
Yeah, I don't think so. We do have the shelters open at Dover High through the Department of Health and Social Services, and it's being staffed by the Red Cross volunteers. If they need assistance in order to get there, there's a large number of people without electric outside of the municipal limits, but there is some assistance available. And it's, as needed, and if they are available at the time. But I do have that phone number on our Facebook page. It's the county's EOC number that's helping organize that. So if, the big thing is to stay safe, stay warm, stay inside. If you can, stay off the roads, and, we'll get through it. We've gotten through this many times before, and we'll get through it again.
Excellent. Kay, thank you. I do want to ask, because we get these questions all the time, any conversations about school for tomorrow yet in the Dover area?
So I can't imagine that it'll be open, but that's, definitely not a K call.
Sure.
I can
You'd be
tell
very
you,
popular if it was Kay, if you
right?
were calling
I
all
can
school.
Yeah, I definitely already am with the city stuff as well. So I can tell you there's no way that we're going to have the residential areas cleared up by tomorrow in order for kids to go to school. So best guess would be, they get another snow day.
Stay close to your school district. Social media is what it sounds like is the best.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the state does a great job of putting that information out as well.
Excellent.
Hey, Kay,
Sass,
one more.
city. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Kay, one more time. What you say? Stay safe. Stay what?
You know what? I don't know. Stay safe, stay warm,
And stay inside.
and stay inside. I can't say the other recommendation you had earlier, so just echo that
Okay,
right
stay
back.
your ass home.
That's
I
it.
can say it.
Kay, thank you so much for coming on Good Morning Delaware. We really appreciate you.
Appreciate you guys. You guys take care and be safe.
All right,
Take care,
thanks,
Kate.
though.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Paige,
It
we
sounds to
appreciate
me, it sounds to me, Matt, that it sounds to me that again in Delaware we have amazing people like Kay and Paige that's keeping Delaware and is trying to keep Delaware safe and keep people safe and keep them off the road during this inclement weather.
Absolutely, it's important. And Paige, we want to thank you for hanging on with us. We do have some more questions we want to get to for you. Statewide, as we had talked about when we kicked off the show, Newcastle County is actually seeing less snow, less power outages, less overall damage than Kent and Sussex. You don't really see that too often. Can you talk a little bit more about that sort of interesting dynamic that we're seeing as we're waking up this morning?
Sure. So this storm kind of shifted at the last moment. And like I said, we were really expecting a little bit more impact in the Newcastle County area. We also saw in the original forecast that the snow was going to have a later onset time down in Sussex County. And as that storm shifted, we actually saw the snow start earlier in Sussex County than it did anywhere else. So that was kind of a change. I mean, people have worked around the clock since Friday to get ready for this storm. Everyone was ready to pivot. The biggest things that really meant for us here on like a statewide operational level is that we've already started shifting assets that were pre-staged in Newcastle County down to Kent and Sussex County to help with those impacts that we've seen. So we're seeing National Guard units moving down the state. We'll probably see additional DELDOT crews moving down the state as they get things under control in Newcastle County. So, we're a small state, we're all neighbors. We just shift things where we need them.
Data neighbors, that's what we say, right? And Paige, I wanted to ask you also, can you talk about those emergency resources? I know there's at least one in every county. Up here in Wilmington, where I'm located, we have the Hicks Anderson Community Center is where folks can go as a warming center, and that's open. We spoke with Mayor Carney's team last night to get that information. Can you talk about the other two in maybe Kent and Sussex County, where to go, and can you just show up, or do you have to RSVP? How does this work?
No, great questions. So in Kent County, we've got shelters going at Dover High School. And in Sussex County, the shelter is located in Georgetown at Sussex Central Middle School. People do not need to pre-register. They're going to be staffed around the clock until further notice, basically. So if people need a place to go, if the power's out and they're, in need of either just a place that's warm or they're in need of meals and things like that, these are fully operational shelters, so they can stay there. There will be places for them to kind of get out of the elements. There is medical care that will be on site as the day goes on. So people can show up as they need. Kay mentioned working through the non-emergency lines for the county emergency management agencies. Again, you can find that information on our social media pages. If you're having trouble getting there safely, there could be assistance to help get folks there. But those shelters are up, they're open, and we expect people to be using them, especially as the power outages extend into tonight. I think we'll see more people that are starting to think that, they might need some extra help, and that's where they should go to get that.
And Paige, if by chance, these shelters do get at max capacity, where's the best place to follow social media wise to see if there's other shelters opening up throughout the week as well?
Absolutely. So you can always follow along our social media. We are on Facebook, we're on X, we're on Instagram, we're on Nextdoor. We've been updating everything around the clock. We work really closely through our joint information system. So whatever information you see coming out from us, you would also see similar information from the counties where the shelters are opening, and also the governor's office. So you can either follow the governor's social media or the state of Delaware official social media, but all of us are working together to make sure that information is out. We're also working really closely in our emergency operations center here. We've had partners in-house from Department of Health and Social Services and the Red Cross since yesterday. So we're watching those shelter numbers, and as we see things start to fill up, obviously we've got plans in place. We'll open additional facilities. Right now the numbers are low. We don't have a plan for secondary facilities, but we've got resources that will be ready to activate those if we needed.
Awesome. Paige, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate you just taking some time and keeping Delaware informed on what's happening in our wonderful state. Like you said, Matt, state of neighbors, right?
That's what Congresswoman McBride always tells us, state of neighbors.
Stay the neighbors. I love it. I love it. All right. Paige, you mind if anything else happen? Just keep us updated and we can let Delaware know what's happening.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks again, Paige. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. Stay
Take
safe.
care. Stay safe, Paige.
Bye.
Again,
There you
that's
go,
Paige
Matt.
Fitzgerald with the Delaware Emergency Management Agency, really doing important work. I can't tell you, Ivan, we're on all these media distribution lists, and they have just been sending around the clock information
Yeah.
to us, which we really appreciate.
Yeah, and we are actually working with the city of Wilmington, Mayor Carney's office too. So we have Mayor Carney probably coming on later on today to get us informed on what's happening with inside the city of Wilmington. Again, Delaware DETV, keeping everyone informed on what's happening during this crazy winter. Can you believe that winter is acting up like this, Matt?
It is. I've always been a winter guy. I'm not much more for the summer. Listen, I'm a big guy. I'm not much for the summer. All right. But this is too much. I'm screaming uncle here. This is too much. I've had enough of winter.
He said, "I'm screaming uncle." But
I've had enough.
You're not a winter guy, but you definitely are a theater guy.
Yes. So I want to bring up, so today, we were supposed to be in studio, but listen, we pivot just with our audience, and we're staying our butts home, like you said, and we want our audience to stay home. So we did have to pivot today. We did have some great guests in studio, so we're hoping to get them back later this week. But I would be remiss if I didn't bring up a passion of mine, which we know is the arts and theater, and getting everybody sort of art is accessible, right, to everyone, no matter what your socioeconomic status is, no matter where you live.
Yeah.
So we had a very timely show that's put on by our friends at the City Theater Company in Wilmington, where they perform at the Delaware Contemporary right on the riverfront. And there's a show that's called POTUS, and it was on Broadway. It's a farce, Ivan, so it's very much the story of, there's the poster, thanks, Dennis. So this is 7 women who sort of work behind the scenes to keep the president's office and the administration moving. It's hilarious. I saw it up in New York when it premiered right after COVID, I guess the height of COVID. And this was written by a 25-year-old in her perspective of what she imagines that goes on behind the Oval Office. And it's hilarious. There's a few local actors in it, and the curtain rises on that on Friday, the 27th, and it runs this weekend and next weekend. I am working with our director Dennis to see if I can get them interviewed later this week, because I would love to introduce our audience to these very, very, very funny ladies. The snow tends to keep people home from going out and enjoying things like the theater and sports. So I'm hoping that this snow melts enough so that we can put butts in seats for them and fill the auditorium for them and get some much needed laughs at the president's office expense.
Well, I'll tell you what, we need those laughs right now to get through this damn winter. Okay. I would love it. I think that I think if we did a Mad Inside Studio this week, it'd be great. So work on that. Let's see if we can get that. We definitely on our end. We'll get it done. See if they can come out again. But I think that POTUS would be freaking hilarious. So I can't wait to take a look at it. You said next week?
So it opens Friday. They have a 5-show run. So it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday this week, Friday, Saturday next week. So just 5 shows. It's at the Delaware Contemporary, beautiful place. So I do hope you can check it out if you need some belly laughs. I will say you need a babysitter for this one, Ive. So if you're looking to go check this out, you might want to get a babysitter for Maddie or keep her home. This is one that's definitely for the parents, not the kids. It's good to
I got it. Now let me ask you this: since you're a theater goer. And so what do you think about the arts in Delaware right now? What do you think about that? Yeah. I've been seeing a huge move since like Neil got into place and Andy got into place, right? They've been really, really doing the things, and it's been, poetry out loud. There's been a lot of movement in the art field, in the art community here. What do you see? Because I know you're an avid, arts theater guy.
Yeah, I think there's this misconception, that, art is, for sort of the upper class, and you have to make a lot of money to enjoy art or to understand art. And, I think art is super subjective, and I'm a theater person, and I enjoy going, but I really would like to be able for all of Delaware, all of Wilmington, to be able to experience it. There are ways to experience it that don't cost a lot of money, that even are for free. We have museums in this state that people don't even know about that they can go into. And just different events throughout. We have our girl Carrie Ann with Opera Delaware moving mountains, and she's making sure that the arts is accessible for everyone, no matter what. And big hats off to her and the team at Opera Delaware for making that happen. They have all these pop-up events, but like you said, there's poetry nights, poetry readings. I have friends that go to coffee shops and just read their own original poetry, and it's great. So I think no matter what sort of your interest is, I think you'll find that outlet here. I think following, like you said, Andy, with the State of Delaware Arts Division of Arts, I've followed their page a lot and checked that out. There's stuff going on every single week. So I encourage people to get out there when it's safe and the snow's gone.
When it's safe and the snow gone. All right, look, let's get out of here. Let's keep everyone safe. And remember, if you're out there in the snow, get your butt in the house, but most of us stay your ass in. All right, because it's dangerous and we want to make sure that you're safe. I think that's all we got for today.
I want to check and see if Dennis can tell us if we have Jana on from AAA.
Oh, yet. That's right. I forgot.
Yeah. I don't know if she had joined yet. I don't believe so. She should be on pretty soon. I don't know if you want to give it another minute or two.
Yeah. I totally forgot about Jana. No, and she's a hometown hero. So we definitely and we're talking about Jana, and I'll let you give a brief on who Jana is, bro.
Yeah, so Jana Tidwell is the manager of public relations and government affairs with Look, she's there. She heard us call her. She's on. Look at that.
Bring her in, Dennis.
We'll bring her in. So Jana Tidwell is she works for public relations and public affairs, government relations with AAA Mid-Atlantic right down the riverfront. She is no stranger to us. We have had her on quite a few times during Winter Storm Fern a few weeks ago. And listen, she is often the first person we call when we see a storm coming. So Jana, welcome back to the show. I feel like you're our third unofficial co-host here now.
Oh, right. Thanks for having me. I appreciate that.
I'm gonna have to tell you, when I was chatting with Jana last night, we were texting back and forth and seeing what time would work. This is one busy lady. I don't even want to ask you what time you got up this morning, Jana, or all your interviews, but we appreciate you taking time to sit with Ive and I.
My pleasure, guys. Happy to do it.
Yeah,
awesome.
I guess let's kick it off, Jana. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? The resources at AAA. What do we need to know about this storm?
AAA has seen a few calls in for roadside assistance this morning because, as is typically the case, many people heed those warnings put out by the state DOTs, thankfully, to stay off the roads, let those plow trains, let the crews do what they need to do to get the roads cleared. So that is a good thing. But what AAA anticipates is that later today, once the snow stops, the secondary and tertiary roads are treated, we will start to see traffic volume increase. And with that, there will be members who lose control of their vehicle. Typically, weather like this, the number one reason why our members will call us, they sadly slide off the road. They wind up in a snowbank. I've seen cars this morning on many of the DOT cams they find themselves in a ditch. We will head out there for our members, of course, and rescue them, pull them back onto the roadways, get them to safety. But most people heed the warnings. It's those essential workers that we're worried about now, just navigating to get where they need to be.
Yeah, Jana, we had just before you had joined us in the first half hour, we had a deputy director from DEMA on, and she had told us, there are driving restrictions, level 2 in Newcastle, level 3 in Kent and Sussex County in Delaware. Ivan says it best to keep your butt off the road.
No, I didn't say it like that.
That's not how Ivan says it.
Thank you, Jana.
Know that.
Thank you. Stay your ass home. It's that simple. That's simple. Thank you, Jana.
That's the only reason why I agree to these.
The entertainment,
because Ivan delivers that in a way that I can't. So no one can match that.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I love it. All right. So Jana, I want to ask also, when the snow, I haven't looked outside right now, but it should be tapering down, at least where I am here in Wilmington, and we actually didn't get the brunt of it as southern Delaware did. When I want to talk about these driving restrictions. They're not lifted as soon as the snow stops, and that's a little bit of a misconception. As soon as the snow stops, you can get back on the road. It takes time for Delta and crews to plow, get ready, especially in places in the city of Wilmington like I am, where plows need to get to the main roads before they can get to the neighborhoods.
Absolutely. Please don't think that there is, once these restrictions are lifted, that's the all clear to get back out there on the
Right.
roadways. We want people to be smart about it. If you don't have to go out, please don't. As these restrictions are lifted, crews are still out there working. And as you said, Matt, just to get to the secondary roads, those narrow roadways, those neighborhoods, that's going to be a challenge. And once those roads are cleared, plowed through, then we as motorists in many areas, even where I am, you got to dig yourself out of your driveway. You got to get that mound of snow that's now plowed at the end, completely dug out. And I will tell you, plenty of extra time. We always say, give yourself plenty of extra time, but I want to be clear that extra time includes extra time to thoroughly clean off your car. It's not just extra time once your tires hit the roadway again. Please clean off everything, especially the roof of your car. Once you start going, anything that's on your car is then blown and thrown to the vehicles behind you. That compromises safety and visibility. So extra time to clean off your car before you think about going anywhere.
I can't tell you, Janet, that's so important. I can't tell you, and I've, when you get on I-95 after a snowstorm, even days later, and you're just going 60, 70, maybe going 80, who knows? I wouldn't, confess that. But when you're going down at these high speeds, and then this, the car in front of you is hardly, taking anything off the top, it just flies off, hits your windshield, incredibly dangerous. So thanks for giving us that reminder. It's really important to clear off the entirety of your car before you hit the road.
Absolutely. We call those, especially after the last snowstorm about a month ago, we call those ice missiles, because once the temperatures drop and they freeze, it really does fly off the top of your car in sheets of ice. So even if you're not driving anywhere today, take the extra time, get your broom, get your snow brush, get your ice scraper, start the car, warm it up, get everything off of the car so that you are ready to return to the roads. Hopefully, as many people as possible can stay home today, but then you'll be ready to go tomorrow.
I love
So
it.
important. Jenna, in the first half hour, we also had, in addition to Dean, we had an official from the city of Dover with us, and she was talking about, just like Wilmington, they have really side roads and neighborhood roads that are really hard for these plows to maneuver. And she's saying, I think she said in her backyard, she has upwards of 16 inches of snow in Dover. And she had said that, they have to sort of extricate the snow and take it out of the neighborhoods. They can't just plow it because there's nowhere to put it. So, I didn't know if you're hearing that from other municipalities as well that you speak to, where during the week we're going to have the snow physically removed out of neighborhoods because plowing it just isn't enough.
No, there really is no place to put it. That's a very good point to raise. I was out and about this weekend, driving through, just running my own errands, preparing for the storm. And when you go to, even those open shopping centers where there are those mounds of dirty snow, now we've got, I'm just a little bit north of you, Matt, and just across the state line, we have at least a foot here. So you're plowing that. Even the neighborhoods don't have a place to put it. This is only going to add to the mounds of snow in parking lots, train stations, those kinds of things. So it really is going to be challenging to navigate over the next few days. Although silver lining, not my news, I'm not breaking anybody's story here, but the weather forecasts are saying that we will be above freezing midweek till the end of the week. So we won't have, hopefully this will not stay around for the 3 weeks that the last snowstorm did. So we do have to move the snow,
So
but
true,
we will feel a melt very soon.
Well, that's good news because God, I hate to say that's good news, but that's good news because last time, it took like 3 weeks for that snow to melt and to get out of here. And now we're talking
It
about the end
really
of the
did.
week with temperatures rising up to 50. So that's great. That's great. Is there anything else you want? Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say we just saw the grass again this week, and
Yeah.
here 1 minute,
I
gone
just
the
told
next.
Ivan that in the beginning of the hour, right? It's crazy.
Yeah. We just saw it,
So,
and now this.
Yeah. Jana, I know we Ivan tells folks to stay off the roads and keep their butts at home. But for those that, the doctors, nurses, emergency personnel, police officers, firefighters, EMTs, and the like that have to get on the road, can you share some of those important safety driving tips that AAA always gives? Following distance, what to do? Can you sort of run down that list with us, just so those folks know how best to stay safe when they're getting to work?
Oh, absolutely. Once your car is cleaned off, you want plenty of extra time to get where you need to be. So allow for that extra time, significantly reduce your speed so that you can control your vehicle as much as possible. That's the key when the pavements like this are compromised due to precipitation and snow and ice. Slow it down considerably. Also, increase your following distance substantially so that you know what's all around you when you need to make a maneuver, like change a lane or exit a highway or merge onto a highway. That following distance will help you if you start to slip or slide for any reason. Should that happen, should you feel like you're losing control of your vehicle, or should you feel like I need to stop, you want to pump your brakes slowly and softly. Any quick maneuver with those brakes, like slamming on the brakes or that panic move to stop the car immediately, is going to lock the wheels and you will send yourself into a spin. So every move you make needs to be slowed down and done precisely. Hold on to the wheel. If you feel yourself, the car start to spin, start to move slightly, turn that wheel to exactly where you want the car to go. Don't try to overcorrect and pull the car back. Again, that will send you into a spin. So it's being prepared, it's taking your time, and being very careful with the maneuvers that you make. Now's not the time to try out the new tires, to try the four-wheel drive, to donut and figure eight in parking lots. It's safety is paramount here.
Hear that, Ivan? No donuts.
No, not that kind anyway.
Damn.
It is a snow day. I mean, come on.
I bet, the neighborhood ones. Listen, Krispy Kreme's, that's different. I'll take that, but no neighborhood donuts.
Damn, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah. So the last thing I wanted to check on, Jana, is air travel, air plans this week. What are we looking like when we turn to the skies?
I'm glad you brought that up, Matt. Air travel will take days for air travel to get back on track. What many people may not realize, so many of the airlines move their aircraft out of the way of these types of storms when they hit, especially in such a massive area. So you want to check with your airline before you head to the airport, because the plane that was supposed to be there for you may not be there. So even if you're not flying till maybe late tomorrow night, maybe it's into Wednesday or Thursday, please check with your airline. There will be significant delays, disruptions, even cancellations for days to come as planes get back to where they need to be, as people get rebooked on different flights. We will feel this for several days.
Makes sense. And Jana, before we let you go, we're hearing a lot sort of on national and local news about this, the halt for TSA pre-check. I want to talk about that just for travel, what it means and what it doesn't mean. I know it tends to freak a lot of people out. Can you clarify a little bit about what's happening right now with TSA and what the halt means?
Sure. I can tell you that I did see that yesterday morning. TSA announced that they were suspending TSA PreCheck and global entry screens because of the partial government shutdown. However, almost as quickly as the announcement came, they reversed course later in the day yesterday, saying that TSA PreCheck and global entry would be in effect. The announcement was causing great confusion on top of, in certain parts of the country, the winter weather and those impacts on air travel. But it's my understanding that TSA has left it up to the airports in terms of their staffing to move people around to do what makes sense for the crowds at specific airports. So this topic alone, take the storm out of it, is also reason enough to give yourself plenty of extra time when heading to the airport. Get there at least 2, if not 3 hours ahead of your flight, just to accommodate any long lines that could be there at TSA security.
So Jana, is the best tool to use is to stay close to the different airlines' website or app to see any cancellations or delays?
Oh, sure. Information is going to be key here. So make sure you have your airline app on your phone, set it up for notifications so you get those almost in real time. Make sure you have your airport apps, not just the airport you're flying out of, but those that you are flying into, especially if you have a connecting flight. Flight Aware is another excellent app to have on your phone because you can check the flights across the country. Put in whatever airport you want. You can see what's delayed, what's canceled. You can see the weather conditions at those airports. Having all of that information is going to help you, not just with the trip that you have planned, but it will get your mind going in terms of, I may need to have a plan B in place just in case. And that's what we urge travelers to do. Almost in this day and age, you want to assume that, guess what, something could happen. So what's my plan B? Can I change my flight? Can I fly into a different airport? Can I leave earlier? Can I delay my departure? Those kinds of things to make sure that you have the information in real time and you can make those decisions if need be.
All great information. Stay off the roads. Ivan and I won't do our burnouts or donuts, and we'll download our American Airlines app.
Thank you. I'm glad I don't have to worry about you two. You two in this weather.
Us troublemakers.
We got a lot of others to worry about, but thank you for promising you'll stay off those roads.
We will.
Thank you, Jana. We really appreciate you.
Hey, my pleasure. Anytime.
All right. Well, Matt, there we have it, Matt. Another informative show on Good Morning Delaware, keeping people, abreast of what's happening.
We did. Hey, we had 3 great guests. We want to thank them again. Kay from the city of Dover, Paige with DEMA, and last but not least, our third unofficial co-host, Jana Tidwell with AAA Mid-Atlantic, keeping us informed about the roads and the skies. Sounds like technology is key. Have those apps on your phone. Keep checking social media. That's kind of the theme I'm hearing today, is to kind of keep up with what's going on. Your phone is key.
Yeah, it's definitely it right now. Stay entertained. Make sure you, like you said, check on your neighbors. Make sure that you reach out to the elderly, that you reach out to the ones that might be sick or shut in, as the church say, just to see, are they alive? Or, because we know that what Kay said, there's a lot of outages in Kenton, Sussex area. We need to make sure that everyone's safe and people can get to the shelters. So make sure that what did she say, Matt? Go to the website for the phone numbers and all that.
Yep. So you can go to DEMA's website, the City of Dover's website, and then also City of Wilmington's social media website and website are probably the best 3 to stay close to for outages and information. And also Governor Matt Meyer and his team, social media team, has been doing a really, really good job. He's been posting every hour or so, keeping people informed about, driving restrictions. I'm sure we'll hear more about schools for the rest of the week as the hours and days go by. So stay close to that information. And also something that Kay said, Ivan, that kind of you and I had the same reaction, is that this snow is called heart attack snow. So you got to be careful with shoveling. Take it bit by bit. Don't try to do your whole driveway in one swoop. That's really important.
Pay the kid $20 from down the street. And when she said that, I was like, damn, do they still do that? Like I remember we used to do it all the time, but do they,
Yeah, I don't see many in my neighborhood anymore, knocking on doors.
I know, right? But make sure you stay safe, Delaware. Be strong. Again, we could get through this. We'll get through this together. But I'm really loving to see right now is how the whole entire state is working together. People that don't look like each other are helping people. You know what I mean? And I love that. And I love how, the politicians are even, working together to get things done. So, and it's taking a storm to allowing a lot of people to see what's how we can band together in this world, and I love it what I see so far. So with that, Matt, are you ready to sign out?
Let's sign out. We'll keep people posted throughout the day, and we'll keep it rolling.
All right, there you go. And make sure you like and subscribe and follow us on all social media platforms, keeping you up to date on what's happening in this beautiful, amazing state that we live in. With that being said, hey Matt, theater goers, let's do it this week, man. I'm excited about it. I already have this set up.
I'm pumped about this show. So we're gonna have them later this week, and I hope you follow along. There it is. Dennis is on it. Got the poster up. We'll have more information, so keep an eye to our website and our social media pages, Ivan's social media pages. We'll have it all across there, and we'll have some laughs this week. I think we need it.
There we go. Let's do it. Matt, have a great day. Have a good, don't struggle too hard. And you watching, thank you again. Like, subscribe, follow us. And matter of fact, take some pictures and put them in the comments. We would love to see what snow looks like. Yeah, we want to see what snow looks like in your neighborhood. All right. There you go. We'll see you tomorrow, 8 a.m. on Good Morning Delaware.